Good morning, it's Harvey Jackson. Just going to get into some of the news here. Alberta crop report. Um, uh, Pretty good pace on planting. That would have came out on Friday or sometime. Uh, um, anyway, let's just get into it here. So you can see the crop report here. 93.1% of all crops as of June 2nd planted. Canola is at 88.7% planted, and spring wheat at 96. And of course, you can dive into all the others as well, but those are the two major crops that I'm paying attention to at the moment. Um, and just the subsurface moisture, there is really no big holes in the moisture. Subsurface, you would say, you might have central, some of the growing region, major growing region might have some, but I think it might affect pastures more than it would the crop planting there. That's for sure. Article after article every week, there's always something about fertilizer prices, but Brazilian farmers edge over U.S. rivals. It's hard to keep that edge. Brazil farmers squeezed by debt, reliance on costly fertilizer imports. U.S. farmers benefit from domestic fertilizer production, stronger government support. Analysts expect Brazil's agriculture growth to stall as margins shrink. So that's probably the theme that's going to continue, even as these conflict still continues here. You can see the overall net position of all wheat futures and options have been basically fallen off a cliff, and you could see it in the futures market first. And because this is delayed data, I don't like to use it other than, hey, it just confirms exactly what the chart is already showing you. Here's just an excerpt of what's going on in the Middle East here.
Israel said it struck military targets in western and central Iran on Monday, even after Donald Trump reportedly told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to refrain from further attacks. The U.S. president has leaned on Israel to stop strikes in Lebanon to allow room for a deal to end the wider war. But Israel on Sunday launched strikes in the Beirut area for the first time since the U.S. announced a truce plan for Lebanon last week. Iran fired a salvo of missiles at Israeli targets in retaliation. The country's Revolutionary Guard said Israel would face, quote, more crushing and regretful blows if it expanded its attacks or responded to Tehran's actions. The Israeli military said it identified missiles launched from Iran and had intercepted them. Now the exchange of fire puts U.S.-Iran peace talks at risk. Though in a weekend TV interview, Trump insisted that a deal was almost in place. Speaking separately to the Financial Times, Trump said he was the one who called the shots and that Netanyahu would have to accept whatever deal the U.S. negotiates. An Israeli official said the pair spoke by phone for a little less than half an hour on Sunday. According to a U.S. official quoted by Axios, Trump told Netanyahu to refrain from further strikes because, quote, we are close to doing something good in terms of a deal. Israel has continued attacks in Lebanon since the start of U.S.-Iran talks aimed at halting the war. Tehran has long said any peace deal with Washington would depend on a ceasefire also holding in Lebanon, which Israel invaded in March in pursuit of Iran-backed Hezbollah fighters.
Here's a excerpt from what the futures, just a short that Ryan had put together.
Were blown off.
I think canola is potentially the biggest winner in U.S. biofuel policy changes anyway. Soybean oil set an all-time record, not just a monthly record, but an all-time record as far as biofuel demand. Canola oil didn't set an all-time record, but its demand doubled month on month. And it was the highest demand since December 2024, which that was the point right before we fell off the cliff when we were still utilizing the $1 blending tax credit. And then we went to 25, where the U.S. effectively shut canola out of the U.S. biofuel market as a feedstock. And that is, we still use some, but not very much at all. And that was because it didn't qualify under 45Z. Now, fast forward to 2026, it's getting a 45Z credit. Plus, remember, in the U.S., about 80% of our canola oil supplies are actually imported from Canada. I think canola.
Yeah, Susan Stroud is a well-known analyst on just the whole biofuels, second to none. Just a quick look at the weather. Yeah, there's still some more storms brewing over the eastern Saskatchewan and Manitoba, western Manitoba. There's storms still continued. So if you look, you got flood watches and flood areas, and then you've got some more thunderstorm watches. So there's a lot of rain. It would be changing the drought monitor, I think. So this is 1 week out, and I just wanted to show kind of the whole U.S., Canada, where the moisture is. And, when you get into those pinks, that's for sure you're getting into enough rain, that's for sure, especially at the early or this part of the growing season. You still would like to have a bit of a pause, especially in that area up there, as it's been quite wet and still trying to get going here. Just have a quick look at the accumulated moisture for the last 30 days. Alberta, Western Saskatchewan definitely got covered. You can see that there is okay moisture across the rest of the areas. There's still some lighter areas that haven't been getting the moisture, that's for sure. But when you look at it as a percentile, you can see Manitoba tends to get a lot more moisture, and it hasn't been. But the last couple of days have maybe just added on. It's helped a lot. Just a quick look at the market here. Canola is currently down as I took the screenshot at 7.63. Soybean oil is down a half a cent almost at 73.66. Palm oil is flat. Crude oil, it was up, but when I did my presentation, it's actually down a little wee bit, so we'll just defer to that. Soybeans down $9.75 at 11.11. Spring wheat basically flat. Hard red winter up 4.25, but your Chicago's down 1.5. Milling wheat out of France is down $0.75. Corn down 4.75 at 4.12. Canadian dollar basically flat. Just a quick look at it here. You can see the last couple of down days on canola has put us back into this range here. We're trading at the 20-day moving average, and we'll see how it continues to trade here. European rapeseed, same thing, broke below that resistance line and staying down there below the 10 and 20-day moving average. Soybean oil, if it breaks below there, you would say that there's some downside. You've got your 50-day moving average that it needs to trade through as well, but it's trading below the 10 and 20. When you look at the November contract, that support line, it's trading below it at just below it at the moment. Soybean futures, it's like catch a falling knife here scenario. It just keeps on going down. And when you look at the November contract, you're basically at this. I would hope that you can maybe get a little bit of support here, but this is your 50-day moving average, and that's what you're approaching there now. Here's your crude palm oil. Here's your crude oil, and it's basically still staying above this extension of this pivot point here, but below the short-term moving averages as we speak. Diesel fuel. Still consolidating at the higher end of the range here for sure. Same, gasoline has been below the pivot point, but looks like it's trying to stabilize the price there. Canadian dollar broke through the low that was made there. The next area is at 70.887 area. US dollar getting back to 2 months highs back at the beginning of March or the end of March, April. And that's where it looks like it's approaching. The market is starting to price in a rate increase here, and you can see that sentiment is moving the market back to some higher levels of interest rates on the 1-year bond. 10-year bond, still, it looks like it's in this upward move. We'll see if it actually will get above there. And then same thing with the 30-year bond. Copper is still on well supported. You can probably draw a support line right there, and it looks like if it can bounce, it'll probably go higher here. Quick look at wheat. Looks like it's trying to fade and go sideways here in that 61.8 retracement value. That's from lows back here to the high. And yeah, it broke that pivot point as well. Same thing here with the November contract or December contract as well. Your Kansas, not quite down to the same low that got made in first week in April, nor the December futures. But when you look at the Chicago, the front month is not there, but the farther out month, it's approaching. It looks like it wants to break through. European French wheat in the Matif is already broke through, and looks like it's going to continue. Same thing with corn futures. And looking forward to a report on June 11th.